Local Louisiana musicians are joining forces to save what's left of Monroe music history, and it all starts here. 1001 Desert Street, the site of the iconic Miller Roy building as it looked in the 1930s, and what it looks like now. Once the center for black business, music, and culture, this fading star of a bygone era is caving in, and is one of several sites Monroe musicians like Kirby Ramblin are trying to preserve.
I'm just a native son of Monroe that really feels like it's a shame for future generations to not know about this history, and it's disappearing. All the big major African-American artists made their way through here. It was a big stop on what became known as the Chitlin Circuit. It was clubs that were safe for African-American artists to play at and perform at and exist at.
Monroe native and Louisiana Music Hall of Famer Doug Duffy is on the same page.
One of the things I'm about is preserving buildings that are basically no longer there.
Duffy has performed at many venues around town that no longer exist and is a regular at Enoch's Pub and Grill. Enoch's Doyle Jeter has been keeping music alive in Monroe for 32 years, featuring many national and local blues artists. He's put together a committee to honor historic people and places around town.
The idea is to have historical landmark signs, much like you see in the Mississippi Blues Trail, that pinpoint certain areas or certain musicians, certain buildings, certain historical landmarks.
One landmark on Doyle's list that's still around is the Elite Lounge at 1207 Griffin Street. Closed now, it's still in pretty good shape and could reopen if the right investor comes along. The Elite Lounge, formerly Kane's Lounge and Motel, was another hot spot on the Chitlin Circuit. Artists such as Otis Jackson, Little Melvin, and Maurice Johnson performed here.
My father was Otis Jackson. He was a musician, a blues singer, and promoter.
Maurice and his brother have a band called the Dynamics. Still plays, and excellent musician.
Maurice Johnson is one of the oldest and coolest living legends around, who actually played on the Chitlin Circuit in the 50s and 60s. His band, the Dynamics, were regulars at Kane's Lounge. Well known in the community, Maurice was the band leader at Grambling State University, Wasserman High, and Carroll High. He's a Monroe icon, can still blow a pretty sweet sax. One of the two biggest hot spots on the Chitlin Circuit in Monroe was the Carroll Gym, which once stood right here. Across from what is now J.S. Clark Elementary, the field was formerly called Carroll Gym or Carroll Auditorium. It was the place to be in the 30s and 40s if you wanted to see Louis Armstrong, Duke Ellington, and Count Basie. The only proof that Carroll Gym ever existed are rare archive photos and ads in the black newspaper of the era. The site is featured on Kirby and Leslie Ramblin's Byway Blues Trail brochure, along with the Elite Lounge and the Miller Roy building. Can any of this history be saved? Well, members of the Monroe music community hope so.